Russell Brand, this is The Truth. You don't know nothing about banking because you've not been educated properly. I know very little about banking except what I learned from a letter from that man who wanted some paella. That's why I got Max Kaiser with me now. He's going to understand what banking actually is. I think just on a high street level, Max, so don't get too heavy.
Hit me.
Max, high street bank scandals are always in the news. For example, RBS gave executives 5.5 million in allowances to sidestep the banker's bonus cap. Tell me, why are these banking scandals always happening? Give us a bit of an overview, will you?
Well, every time the regulators try to curb excessive banking behavior, the banks come up with ways to bypass any new regulations. In this case, they were supposed to get a salary cap. They figured out a way to bypass that. And the government is basically powerless to stop bankers because the bankers have lobbied their way into the power structure so thoroughly that there's absolutely nothing the government can do to stop them.
This is amazing. RBS bankers also walked free over 3 million fraud. And what is the LIBOR rigging scandal that Barclays and RBS were involved in? What is LIBOR?
Well, there's two questions there. The first one is they made off with a lot of money, and they just got a slap on the wrist. So there's a two-tier justice system. If you steal money and you're a banker, you get a slap on the wrist. If you go down to the corner shop and you steal 50p, you go sent to jail. So that's one of the reasons why there's a huge uproar about these bankers, because there's no justice apparently for their crimes. Now, LIBOR or LIBOR, as they say in this country, is another one of these manipulation scandals like the Forex manipulation scandal or any number of other scandals. And LIBOR or LIBOR is a reference rate used, interbank reference rate interest rates, and they set this rate on a daily basis to help set what the interest rate should be on a number of products. And if you have trade on inside information, that's the heart of the LIBOR scandal, is that bankers who know what the rate's going to be, they put trades on ahead of this information and they profit from insider trading. This is an insider trading scandal.
They've got inside information and they're making bets on that inside information.
That's right.
But why do we love banks so much? It must be because of their gorgeous adverts. Let's just have a quick look at an RBS commercial.
It's one small step for man. Into a bank that welcomes Captain Starlight and his savings.
Look at that, they're acting like they've got a good sense of humour. They're using a Scottish voiceover. They're embracing children dressed as an astronaut. It's a slubbish sort of a Seth Rogen style dad has been brought in to personalise them. They're using an Asian bank teller. There's no trick they won't pull to make them seem nice and likeable. Why do they have to work so hard to seem nice and likeable and normal?
Well, in the case of RBS, they were caught laundering money for Hamas, which is
Oh my God!
the government says is a
They
terrorist.
laundered it.
Yeah, the government says that Hamas is a terrorist organization. Our HSBC was caught laundering money for Hezbollah, aside from also Mexican drug cartels. So they have to work extra hard to try to overcome the terrorism that they are financing with this propaganda piece and these advertisements.
A bank that's never far from your mitten tips.
But remember, RBS is a majority owned by the UK public, and yet they still go on and commit any number of financial frauds and crimes, and there seems to be no way to stop them from doing it. So these ads are really a spit in the face, because not only are the UK underwriting their fraud, but they have to watch these ridiculous ads that make fraud look cute.
They're making the fraud look cute. It is a spit in the face. We actually are funding this expensive advert. This shot of a squirrel.
This little squirrel here is actually the only thing collateralizing the bank of RBS. Open the vault, and you say, well, you claim to be a multi-billion-pound institution. Prove it, and they'll open the vault, and there's a little squirrel.
A bank you can speak to live on web chat 24 hours a day. A bank that has an emergency cash service.
Do you see it's sort of like, as well, it's trying to embrace that in life there's little foibles that happen, little slip-ups. Oh, your dog might yank you while you're walking in the park. You might leave your bag on top of a cab. We can all make mistakes. We might inadvertently steal trillions of dollars of public money.
Right. You have to keep in mind that when RBS and these other banks are involved in LIBOR manipulation or Forex manipulation, it's a concerted collusion amongst other banks. They're involved in a syndicate or a cartel behavior to rig markets. So they're acting in ways that are completely undermining the general good and ripping people off blind, including the government.
This is unbelievable, Max, that we're using this. When you've got money in a bank like me, say I've got, I don't know, 10 grand in a bank, what happens to that 10 grand?
Well, first of all, you don't own that money. Once you put the money in the bank, it's owned by the bank.
They've took it.
They have legal possession of the bank. And they've changed laws now so that if the bank goes bankrupt, your deposit is now at the end of the list in terms of creditors. This is something that Jamie Dimon just passed in America, to make deposits now that you put in the bank behind his derivatives trading.
So they'll give you that back when they give everyone else stuff back?
Well, they use your money to bet on the world derivatives market and make incredibly speculative bets. And when those bets go bad, they just simply take your deposits.
It's a brilliant system.
And then the government bails them out.
And then the government bails them out. It's brilliant. They've got it all sewn up.
For those OMG moments. A bank that really doesn't mind if you come as you are.
They fucking will mind when I turn up, they wouldn't let me in. They went mental. I only popped in and asked a few questions, like where'd that 46 billion of British public taxpayers' money go? How come you give yourself 4 billion worth of bonuses since that collapse? What's going on in there, Max?
Well, the phrase too big to fail should never be applied to a bank, because what happens is they hold the government hostage and they are able to commit these frauds and crimes. And anytime the government tries to stop them, they say, we're going to collapse the system if you come after us. If you try to impose any kind of regulations on us, we will collapse the system. We'll crash the markets. So really, the UK economy is being held hostage by a group of psychotic bankers, like RBS, amongst the others.
So like, is it like a child at a party saying, if you don't give me more cake, I'll shit myself and ruin the party? They're like that.
That's why they dress up in these party outfits, to kind of communicate this, outlandish child at the party who will threaten to shit themselves if you don't give them more cake. And they always want more cake. They're insatiable. They'll never have enough cake. They always want more cake.
When I was in that bank, RBS, in there, I felt this feeling that like their security was an overreaction, and it made me feel that something really sneaky and sly and dodgy was going on in there, Max. Like I seriously thought, like, oh, it's a bit of an overreaction. I'm only old Russ. I'm clearly not a terrorist. If I was, they'd let me use their banking system. Like, why did I feel that feeling?
Well, clearly they're quite nervous.
Why though?
They're looking over
Is
their
there
shoulder.
stuff going on in there?
Because people are understanding what the role the bankers are playing in all this mess. You know, they assume that they had a benign interest in all that, but no, they're really involved in creating the problems, and so naturally they're getting nervous.
The Royal Bank of Scotland. Whenever you need us, we're here for you.
Oh, thanks, guys. Seeing as how we own you, so you should be. We pay for you. Without us, there is no you. So what should we do to avoid being involved in the skullduggery of organisations like RBS, Max?
I return to my theme of cryptocurrencies, which are it's an invention in money that it's remarkable, and it gives us a chance to free ourselves from these scoundrels. That's what I think.
Learn more about cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and Max, you've got your own one, have you?
Startcoin.
Max has invented some new money. Woohoo! Money is just consensus. Money is just a story. Money is just a belief. I promise to pay the bearer. We can step inside that belief system or outside of it whenever we want to. That is some true news. News you can trust.
Absolutely.
Subscribe here.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now I've got to listen to that again.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Truths is like the nose. If the nose was true, I want some truths. Let's have some truths.